What's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2. I swear, some of y'all get on my nerves because y'all will take any innocent conversation and be all like, it's a gay agenda. And this conversation was about raising boys. And somehow y'all took Barack Obama, just a little clip of what he said, and was all like, oh, he's telling little boys to be friends with gay people, or little boys need to be gay. Like the headlines y'all are running with is just crazy. So we're going to go ahead and watch this video together because I want to put what Barack Obama said in context because y'all acting ignorant. But let's go ahead and play the intro. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So, as you guys may or may not know, Michelle Obama does a podcast with her brother, Craig Robinson, right? And so they had Barack Obama as a guest on the show. This was the first time he's been on her podcast. So it's a big deal, right? So they had a conversation about this woman who asked a question about raising boys. So I'm going to go ahead and play her question, and then I'm going to get to the context of the conversation that Barack, Craig, and Michelle were having. So let's go ahead and start right now. Here we go.
I thought so.
See, now that's what a brother-in-law is for, folks.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got a question today from a listener in San Francisco named Emma.
Okay, I want to hear from Emma.
And let's hear from Emma so we can dive into this topic.
Hi, Michelle and Craig. I have 3 younger brothers and am a new mom to a 1-year-old little boy. What can we do to change the fact that we raise our girls and we love our boys? There is so much dialogue on raising strong, independent women, but how can we raise emotionally intelligent, competent men? I am deeply concerned by the ideology promoted to my younger brothers online. I want to raise a young man who sees through those ideas. How can we energize the discussion around raising young men that want to change these oppressive and even violent dynamics?
Now,
So basically what the woman Emma was asking was like, how do you raise emotional intelligent men? Because at the end of the day, what's basically pushed to men is this, oh, you have to be strong, you have to be aggressive, gender norms. And I'm not too big on like, you got to break every gender standard or gender norm. I'm not really big on that. But again, something like cleaning is seen as feminine. Cooking is seen as feminine. I grew up in a household, you clean, cook, take out the trash, you know how to change a tire. Like, we didn't really have gender norms because you literally was raised to be independent. It didn't have a gender to it. You were just raised to be independent. And that's how a lot of people are raised, honestly, to tell you the truth. You're just raised to be hold on. Not majority. I said a lot of people are raised to be independent. And so what she was basically talking to is like what you see online with the whole red pill and these podcast bros. And if you go based off of what they say, we're going to have a lot of dumb men in the world. I mean, hell, there's a lot of them out there already, but she's trying to save her boys from being them dumb men that you see on the red pill, the podcast, all the hypocritical shit they say. Oh, don't get with a single mom. Most of them are with a single mom. Oh, you don't want to be with a ratchet or a 304, but they love the ratchets. They love the 304s. She don't want to raise one of them kind of men. So with that being said, I'm going to skip to the part where Barack Obama kind of gives the woman Emma some advice. So here we go.
Alone or whether she has a husband. But I do think that mothers struggle to figure out what do their sons need. And so they wind up operating out of their own fears and their own instincts, which is to love unconditionally. I think mom was like this. She raised me to be tough because I think she knew what it was like to be a woman. In her mind, she knew what she was preparing me for. The insults, the limitations, the whatever
The
you can think
sexism,
of
the
the
biases.
sexism, the biases. So she knew you have to have a mouth. You have to be able to speak up
Right.
for yourself. With you, she wanted you to be nice so that you wouldn't get in trouble or you
Right.
wouldn't get arrested. But was that who you were? So what do we say to the Emmas of the world? How do we sort of start thinking as a society about helping mothers?
Right.
Raise sons because they're
Right.
doing it alone, and we're being told that we don't have what it takes to give boys all of what they need.
Well, look, I think you started hinting at it. As somebody who was raised by a single mom, not perfectly, but that unconditional love as a start is the right one.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, though, thinking about raising boys in the same way you're thinking about raising daughters, which is how do you make them good, responsible people who know how to function and know how to understand themselves well enough that they can navigate this really complicated world and setting high expectations. So there are a lot of these things that apply to boys and girls. I do think that there are some particular issues with boys that as a society we're not addressing. I do think as a society we have to create more structures for boys and men to have guidance, rituals, frameworks, encouragement, to be able to meet a wide range of role models so that whatever their inclinations, they can.
Yes, a wide range of role models. And I think it's important because I can only speak from me as a man from a Black perspective. Every Black boy dreams of either being in sports or music. For me, it was music. I always wanted to grow up rapping, singing, like whatever was about music. That's what I love music. But the thing is, my parents never pushed me into doing music, which I'm kind of disappointed because now I have a passion for it. But I always was like, damn, what if they pushed me to do more of the arts, rather than do sports or academics? Like they pushed me more in the arts. Like I always think about that. But growing up as a Black boy, either music or you want to be in sports, more than likely basketball, right? So yeah.
See a path to success that isn't just sports or money. You're making a lot of money, and so that's on all of us together. What I would say to Emma would be, in your community, even if you have a wonderful male partner who's in the house, I think it still would be good to find assets in the community, people in the community, friends in your community, places of worship, community organizations, what have you, where there are a bunch of men who can be sort of elders to boys. And so they're not just looking at one particular role model, but many. And one of the things when Michelle and I first started dating and I'd go over to your guys' house, one of the things I loved was just, seeing all your uncles and your cousins. And there were a bunch of different kinds of men, And
I like that he brings this up. One, he didn't really go deep into his childhood because, he wasn't raised around Black people. So I'd like for him to dig deeper into that. But I think he talks about that in a book, but I don't read anyway. But I want to say I like that he brought up Michelle's uncles because my uncles play a heavy role in my life and especially my childhood. Like when I was talking about music earlier, my uncles, they were into music. Actually, all of them are into music, but particularly my two uncles on my dad's side, they were in the music industry. So that's where I get my passion from. And so you do need those different examples of men so you can know, what you like in as far as like, okay, I can be this kind of way or I can be that kind of way, or maybe they do a certain job like a firefighter or a doctor or so forth. But you have those different examples, because there's not one way to be a man. Like, no matter what people want to tell you, like, well, especially those podcasts want to tell you there's only one kind of way to be a man. No, there's multiple different kind of ways of being a man, and forming your own opinion, being able to be well-rounded, and being able to have conversations with people. You have to have different examples. So I like what he's saying.
There were men that were kind of soft-spoken, and then there were men that were loud, and there were men who were engineers, and then there were men who were
police officers,
or they drove a cab.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need, is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything.
Just like I said earlier, my uncles were very pivotal in my childhood. Like, it really, when they say it takes a village, it really does. And my grandfather too, rest in peace. But my grandfather, my uncles, like, it really takes a village to raise a family or to raise a child, right?
And that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned.
My dad used to be tripping back in the day, and yeah, my uncles, my grandpa, yeah, they definitely. I have to tell y'all that later. Let it continue playing.
As a guy, I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy, and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group, so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right. So that, I think, is creating that community. I know it's corny, but that's what they need.
And we talk a lot about what we had with our mother and father.
So there we go, you guys. He was basically referencing to, hey, I had a teacher, and sometimes I would say things not appropriate, and that teacher would be there to check me. And then he's just saying, just in general, what if you have a child who's gay or non-binary? They have someone to look at and be like, okay, well, there's this person, they're not alone. Because at the end of the day, whether you guys like it or not, there's children who are gay. Whether you like it or you ain't gotta like it, but that's the truth. And so at the end of the day, what Barack Obama is saying is like, okay, well, at least you'll have that in your friend group where you can have your child speak to them and really learn and how to navigate. Because if you are not gay, you're not going to know how to help someone who is, and try to help them navigate through this world, because the world is not kind. You can teach somebody how to be a man. If you're a man, you can teach somebody how to fish if you know how to fish. But if you're not of that community, you can't teach them. Just like if you had a biracial child and there were certain things about the culture, say if they were mixed with Hispanic and they were Mexican nationality, right? Well, you're not from that heritage, so how would you really be able to teach them about anything? Yeah, you can do your research, but more than likely you need to speak to that other side of the family so they can really teach them about their ancestry and their heritage, right? So that's where Barack Obama was coming from. But of course, I know people have edited the clip and shortened it. So the way that it's chopped up, it just made it seem like, oh, everybody needs a gay friend. And honestly, to tell you the truth, what the hell is wrong with that? I mean, we live in a world where I don't want to say everybody's accepted, because obviously this is why we're having this conversation, but everybody is going to be here, especially in America. Ain't nobody going nowhere. Ain't nobody going to be locked up in jail. Everybody is here, and most of us are tax-paying citizens. So you better learn to get along. That's basically it. But one of the things that you have to have is respect for everybody. Now, some people go like, oh, I don't have to respect. No, no, no. You have to respect everybody. If you want to get respect, you have to give respect. But let me know what you guys think about this whole topic. But like I said, I wanted to play the full context of the conversation, because when I first heard it, like, oh, he's trying to say little boys need to have a gay friend. And I'm all like, where are y'all getting this from? Like, y'all really sounding like Charleston White. Y'all need to free your mind and the rest will follow. Shout out to En Vogue. But anyway, you guys, we out of here. Deuces, everybody. Love y'all.